Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to be doing a Death Domain Cleric build, and it's going to be a split with Open Hand Monk. Now the TLDR about this is we're going to go 6 Death Domain Cleric and we're going to go 6 Open Hand Monk. Now, why are we making those two choices? On the Cleric side, we're going to get Touch of Death at level 2. That's going to be our Channel Divinity, which is going to add necrotic damage to our melee attacks. Now, there's some nuance with that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But then at level 6, we get Inescapable Death, meaning that our necrotic damage ignores resistance. Not full immunity, but ignoring resistance of necrotic damage is pretty helpful. And so on the split side, from the Monk, what are we getting? Well, at level 3 there with Open Hand Monk, we get our Flurry of Blows, which is a nice way to weaponize our bonus action. And then most importantly, at level 6, we pick up Manifestation of Body, which adds necrotic damage to our melee strikes. Unarmed melee strikes, that is. So that's the build overall if you just wanted an overview. Now the rest of the video, we're going to go through the leveling process and we're going to talk about the choices we're going to make. And then at the end, we'll have a gameplay section. So if you got what you needed, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And for everybody else, let's get started. Now starting off at level 1, any choices made in Character Creator, not really that vital for this build. But obviously at level 1, we need to pick Cleric. Now before you choose the subclass Death Domain Cleric, go ahead and pick another Cleric, go back to your cantrips, and make sure to select both Toll the Dead and Bursting Sinew. And then for that third cantrip, just make sure to grab Guidance. That's just really helpful. Now go back to the subclass and pick Death Domain. And you'll see under Death Domain, we get another cantrip, and that's where we pick up Bone Chill. Now, if you didn't switch your Cleric subclass there, your cantrips there, you wouldn't be able to select Toll the Dead or Bursting Sinew. So this is a little bit of a bug, but it allows us to pick up Toll the Dead, Bursting Sinew, and Bone Chill all there at level 1. Otherwise, we'd have to choose between one of the three instead of having all three of them at once. And additionally, as Death Domain Cleric, we pick up Reaper, which states your necrotic cantrips that only target one creature can target an additional creature. So that's going to work with Bone Chill, Bursting Sinew, and Toll the Dead. And then as far as your ability points are concerned, I went with more of a dexterity wisdom spread here, but just know you can also go strength as well, because as a Death Domain Cleric, we also get martial weapon proficiency. So for those melee strikes, yeah, either go strength or dexterity, both work completely fine. Let's move on to level 2. All right, and then moving on to level 2 here. Level 2 here, we get our Channel Divinity, which is Touch of Death. Now, Touch of Death is going to add necrotic damage to our melee attacks. And then all clerics pick up Turn Dead, but as far as your prepared spells, I would make sure to pick up something like Inflict Wounds, Healing Word, Sanctuary, and the rest you can fill out as needed. Guiding Bolt is really good, but it really doesn't fit the theme, but if you want to choose it, that's up to you. The important one here is Inflict Wounds, because that is going to work with our Channel Divinity. But at level 2 here, Death Domain Cleric is extremely strong, because with our regular action, we can target 2 enemies with our cantrip with something like Bone Chill or Toll the Dead. And then with our offhand, if we are dual wielding daggers, our bonus action, we can use that to attack, and then we can proc Touch of Death for additional damage. So hopefully you can see, yeah, just at level 2 here, Death Domain Cleric, we're already really strong. But let's move on to level 3. At level 3 here, really the only thing is we unlock our level 2 spells. I don't think anything here is crucial, so kind of pick what your party needs and we can move on to level 4. Now at level 4, we pick up another cantrip, kind of up to you. Same goes for your level 2 spells here. But now at level 4, we get our feats. And when it comes to Death Domain Cleric and for this build, there's not really that many feats to decide from. Obviously, ability improvement and then bumping up your wisdom, probably going to be the best bet. Alert, that's never bad. Now, if you chose to go the strength route as far as your Death Domain Cleric and eventually our Open Hand Monk split, then picking up Tavern Brawler is going to be really good, really going to help out your damage and then your attack rolls. But for this build here, we're only going to be able to pick up 2 feats, so between those 3, kind of up to you. The only one that I think is kind of mandatory is ability improvement and making sure you're bumping up your wisdom to 18, because that's going to synergize with our Channel Divinity and later our Manifestation of Body that we pick up from Open Hand Monk. So with level 4 out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to level 5. Now at level 5 here, we pick up some good stuff. We unlock our level 3 spell slots. We also get Destroy Undead, which when we use Turn Undead, it'll do radiant damage. Not really fitting in line with our necrotic theme, but still just really good. And then we pick up 2 spells for Death Domain Cleric. We pick up Animate Dead, which is nice because we can summon a undead servant. And then we also pick Vampiric Touch, which is going to synergize with our Channel Divinity. Now this is a concentration, and you'll know that's an issue because with our prepared spells here, I think the go-to here is Spirit Guardians, which will do a nice little AoE bubble around us. It's going to do necrotic damage, and it just fits with the theme, and I think it's a little bit better than Vampiric Touch. But both are really good. So just make sure to pick up Spirit Guardians and we can move on to level 6. Now really quick with level 6 here, we pick up a second Divinity Charge. These come back on short rest, really handy. But the other big pickup here is Inescapable Destruction. Now it reads spells you cast ignore resistance to necrotic damage. this also works with items or weapons that deal necrotic damage. So it's not restricted to just spells, it also works with cantrips, obviously. Now, level 7 here, this is where we're going to split into Monk. And as Monk, we get Flurry of Blows as a bonus action. We also get our key points, and additionally, Unarmored Defense. This is going to synergize with our Wisdom modifier, which thankfully, that's Cleric's spell modifier. So again, those work really well together. So let's go ahead and move on to level 8, which again, we're going to be sticking Monk the rest of the way. And at level 8, level 2 Monk here, we're going to pick up some nice mobility options. This class or this build is going to be highly mobile as long as we're not wearing armor. We also pick up some nice actions like Patient Defense, Step of the Wind Dashed, or Step of the Wind Disengaged. Again, very highly mobile and good survivability when we're not wearing armor. So let's go ahead and move on to level 9. Now, level 9 here is when we're going to pick Open Hand as our subclass for our Monk. And it's basically going to further weaponize our bonus actions and make them really dangerous. We also pick up Deflect Missiles. Now, when you redirect a missile, it'll actually proc your Channel Divinity Touch of Death, even if the enemy is outside of your melee range. So that might be some unintended synergy, but hey, it works. So now let's quickly move on to level 10. So at level 10 here, we do pick up some more key points. More importantly, we get another feat. Now, if you went the strength route as far as your Monk, this would be the time to pick up Tavern Brawler. But if you went the dexterity route here, ability improvement and then either bumping up your dexterity or your wisdom is the way to go. But right now for this video, I'm just going to bump up wisdom to 20 and then we can move on to level 11 really quickly. And so at level 11 here, because we're level 5 Monk, we pick up extra attack and we also get the action Stunning Strike with your melee weapon or Stunning Strike with unarmed strikes. Both of these are really nice options. Let's go ahead and move on to level 12. And at level 12, we are now our level 6 Monk, and this is where we pick up Manifestation of Body. And now I would say the build is complete. Technically, this build is basically up and running around level 8, but because this is a split build, yeah, level 12 here, we're really cooking. So all that's left is we're going to briefly touch on equipment, and then we're going to move to the gameplay section. Now, really quick when it comes to equipment, this is not a equipment heavy build. I think something like Flawed Helldust Gloves are really good because your unarmed attacks get additional necrotic damage, and you pick these up pretty early on in Act 2. And then something like the Blackguard Sword here is going to do necrotic damage as well. You can see in the tooltip there, it says Ignores Resistance. But if you want to go that double dagger route, then something like the Sword of Lifestealing is pretty good. Bloodthirst is really good as well, and the Knife of the Undermountain King also pretty handy. Now, I do think it's worth mentioning if you have the Knife of the Undermountain King and you pair it with Bloodthirst and then something like Deadshot, all of these are going to reduce the roll you need to critical by 1, so 3 total. So while obviously these pieces of equipment will improve this build further, it's also really not necessary to have any melee weapons if you want to go that route too. When it comes to most of my builds and equipment, really, it's very subjective because I don't know what the rest of your party is, and this works completely fine without equipment. Obviously, equipment's going to make it better, but that is going to be up to you as far as where you are on your run, and again, what other party members you have. So optimizing all that is up to you. So with the equipment out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the gameplay section. Now, moving to the gameplay section, we already started a little bit of a fight here, but I want to really quick touch on some more equipment options here. Something like the Graceful Cloth that's going to bump up our dexterity is really good. This is not armor, so it's not going to interfere with anything that's going on with Monk. And so with our high dexterity here, we also pop the Elixir of Viciousness, because as you can see here, we have the Knife of the Underking, we have the Dolor here, and then we have the Deadshot. These are all going to help out with our critical hits. Now, don't worry, we do have Shadowheart over there, and she's going to be the more strength variant, and she has an Elixir of Hill Giant Strength popped. Gear-wise for her, she also has the Flawed Helldust Gloves. Now, you don't get 2 of these in the campaign. Had to do a little trickery to get 2 of them. Just know you're only going to get 1 pair. But she really doesn't have any other pieces of equipment that are going to help her out, but she's going to be plenty strong because she has Tavern Brawler. So let's switch over to Tav, and basically we're going to deal with these 3 guards here. Now, these guards do have a mage, and if you know anything about the Fist Mage, they all have counterspell, which is really annoying. So that's going to be priority number 1. So I think we'll start off with a Flurry of Blows. As you can see with the tooltip there, as far as the damage calculations, yeah, it gets a little bit nutty, but it's really good. So let's go ahead and get in there and just absolutely delete this guy. I didn't talk about a Lithid power, so we're not going to react there and use that. Actually, if we don't proc this, then it's going to keep coming up. So we'll go ahead and proc it there, and we'll proc Touch of Death, and then that character's absolutely gone. Moore joined the fight. Now with him down, the mage down, we can go ahead and use Spirit Guardians. And we'll pick necrotic damage, and this is going to give us a nice little AoE bubble around us. Now this is the first time I'm seeing that, but I did Spirit Guardians, and that has procced my extra attack. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll roll with it. You can see that we can do a normal dagger strike, and that's going to do 9 to 17 damage. That's okay, but really, we want to do a Stunning Strike, which is going to use those gloves, and that's where that necrotic damage is coming from. Not to mention that we have Manifestation of Body toggled on there. So really these melee weapons here, they're basically just stat sticks. So we'll go ahead and use Stunning Strike, and we'll probably do it on the Archer instead. And we got another crit. Let's go ahead and use Touch of Death, and this should delete him. Very close. He's bleeding. He's going to die on his turn. So not a bad opener. Shadowheart's doing some dodging. We're going to deflect this missile, and then we're going to send it right back at him. That if this barricade wasn't in the way, that would have been sure shot. Now, just looking at our options here, I actually want this guy to go down. That way we could have split our Bursting Sinew on both of these bodies here to hit him, because that's a really nice combination. I don't think I mentioned it in the level up process, but I think I showed a clip where using Bursting Sinews on 2 bodies and with one target in range, ooh, it's pretty damn strong. But since our Tav there, they're the ones using Spirit Guardians, we don't need to show that off again. We're going to get in melee range and use Vampiric Touch. But what I was mentioning earlier about Death Domain Cleric being just so strong in the opening game is because of their ability to use Reaper and then split their cantrip like that. It's just really strong that your cantrip can target 2 enemies like that, and now I could follow up with a Flurry of Blows stagger, or if I was in the early game, I'd have something like an Offhand Knife, which then could proc Touch of Death. Just, oof, an absolute monster in the early game. If you guys haven't tried out Death Domain Cleric yet, oh, it's so freaking good. I'm absolutely in love with it. Now we can end our turn there. They're going to try to attack our Tav. No big deal there. Spirit Guardians got knocked off. And I think I'll use another cantrip. I think I'll use Bone Chill here and target both of them. Beautiful. Good amount of damage there. And to follow up, I think I'll just use Flurry of Blows Topple. A critical hit, and then we had a critical miss. Not bad, though. Archer's going to try to run away. He's going to use Volley. We're going to deflect the arrow twice. And then we're going to send 2 back at him. Oh, I think he's probably dead. Yeah, so good. Okay, and now we're going to finish this guy off with Vampiric Touch, if we can hit him. We got him. A little bit of life back. I do prefer Spirit Guardians, but Vampiric Touch, not bad. And these people here, they just got absolutely deleted. This build overall is just very well rounded. You can stick in melee range if you want with your Flurry of Blows or just your offhand strikes and toggle your Channel Divinity, or you can just sit in the back line and use Bone Chill and Toll the Dead and be targeting 2 enemies at once, and then follow up with a bonus action of one of your healing words. Maybe you want to use Sanctuary, because at the end of the day, we are still a cleric, so we have the option to go again on that offensive route and then use our bonus action to support the party. Or you can flip that and use something like Cure Wounds, you can use something like Prayer of Healing, and then with your bonus action, use Flurry of Blows. But yeah, that's the build overall. Let me know how you guys are enjoying Death Domain Cleric. And again, if you're using Death Domain Cleric, oh, how good is it in the early game? And if you're not using Death Domain Cleric, what are you doing? Hopefully this video showed that how good they are, again, with very minimal gear, might I add. And right out the gate at level 1, they are just so powerful. But anyways, that's the video. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. Consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, and take care.